They said I am useless because I am lame, the boy whispered to the Apache, his voice trembling like a fragile leaf caught in the wind, as if the very weight of the words might shatter him. He stood on the edge of the vast desert, where the horizon bled into eternity, his crutch sinking slightly into the sand with each hesitant step. His face was pale with shame, yet his eyes still held the dim glow of a soul unbroken. The Apache warrior, tall, weathered, with eyes carved from the patience of mountains and the wisdom of rivers, bent down to meet the child at eye level. For a long silence, the man said nothing. He only studied the boy, as if measuring not the weakness of his leg but the strength hidden beneath his spirit. Then, with a slow, deliberate motion, the Apache touched the boy's chest with 2 fingers and said, "Your legs may stumble, but the heart here walks farther than any horse." The boy blinked, startled. No one had ever spoken to him this way. His village had laughed, mocked, or pitied him. He had been the shadow at the edge of every game, the burden in every labor, the silent reminder of fragility. Yet now, under the blazing sky, this warrior saw not brokenness but possibility. The boy's eyes brimmed with tears he fought to hide, but the Apache did not turn away. Instead, he took the boy's hand, calloused and small, and guided him toward the fire where other children sat in a circle, listening to stories of ancestors who had crossed mountains with nothing but faith and courage. The boy hesitated. "They won't want me," he whispered. But the Apache's grip was steady. "They need you," he replied firmly. "Every fire burns brighter with another flame, no matter how small it seems." That night, the boy sat among the circle for the first time, his crutch laid beside him, his heart pounding louder than the drums that echoed in the desert wind. The Apache began to tell a story. One of a warrior who had lost his sight in battle yet became the greatest guide of his people, leading them not with eyes but with memory, instinct, and an unyielding spirit. The children listened, wide-eyed, but the boy listened with a hunger no one else could feel. He felt the story seep into him, like water to parched earth. For the first time, he wondered, could his weakness become a strength? Could the very thing that chained him be the key that freed him? Days turned into weeks, and the Apache taught him not how to run like the others, but how to see differently, how to listen to the ground, how to trace the stars with patience, how to read the wind as if it carried secret words. While others raced in games of speed, he learned stillness, awareness, and the quiet power of resilience. When the children returned breathless and sweaty, he returned with stories of the sky, with knowledge of which bird cried at dawn and which shadow marked the hour. Slowly, they began to look at him differently. No longer was he the boy who could not run, he was the boy who knew things no one else did. And when they asked, "How did you learn?" he would smile shyly and whisper, "The Apache taught me to walk with my heart." Yet still, doubts lingered. One evening, as the sun fell bleeding into the horizon, the boy found himself alone, staring at the vastness of the desert. "But what if they are right?" he asked the wind. "What if I am useless?" The Apache appeared beside him, as if summoned by the boy's despair. He did not scold, nor did he comfort with empty words. Instead, he pointed to a cactus blooming with a brilliant red flower. "Do you see this?" he asked. The boy nodded. "It grows in the harshest place, where others cannot. The desert does not mock it for being slow to bloom, nor for being filled with thorns. The desert honors it because it survives, because it offers beauty and life when it is needed most." The boy's throat tightened. He had never thought of himself as a flower, never imagined that his pain might hold hidden gifts. But the Apache's voice cut through his self-doubt like a river through stone. "You are not useless. You are rare. And rare things have power." Weeks passed, then months, until one fateful day came that would forever test those words. The children had wandered far from the village, chasing wild laughter and the thrill of freedom, when a sudden storm rose across the desert. The sky darkened with furious clouds, and the winds screamed like angry spirits. Sand whipped through the air, blinding eyes, cutting skin, and soon the children were lost. Panic spread among them, north became south, every step threatened to bury them deeper in the endless dunes. They cried out, each voice breaking into fear. The boy felt terror too, his heart hammering in his chest, but then he remembered what the Apache had taught him: listen. He pressed his ear to the ground, felt the pulse of the earth. He looked up, reading the jagged break of the storm against the stars that barely pierced through. And he knew. This way, he cried, louder than he had ever dared before. The others turned to him in disbelief. How can you know? But he did not explain. He simply leaned on his crutch, steady and determined, guiding them step by step, not fast but sure. Through the raging storm, he led them, his voice strong when their courage faltered, his knowledge of the land becoming their anchor. Hours later, exhausted, trembling, the children stumbled into the village, safe. Behind them came the boy, slow but unyielding, his crutch sinking deep into the sand, his face lit not with pride but with quiet certainty. He had found his place. That night, the village gathered to hear the story of their survival. The children spoke of how the boy had guided them, how he had been the only one who knew the way. The people listened in awe. The same villagers who once whispered useless now saw him as something else entirely. They saw him as strength. The Apache stood silently at the edge of the crowd, his eyes glimmering with pride, saying nothing, for he knew the boy needed no more words. He had already found the truth within himself. And as the fire crackled, the boy looked at his crutch, not with shame but with gratitude. For without it, he might never have walked the path that had led him here, to this moment of belonging, of purpose. Years later, when he was grown and others sought his guidance, when children too timid or broken came to him with eyes full of the same questions he once carried, he would kneel, touch their chest with 2 fingers, and repeat the words that had once saved him: "Your legs may stumble, but the heart here walks farther than any horse." And with those words, he passed on the flame of hope, a fire that could never be quenched. For in the heart of every soul that believes it is useless lies a rare power, waiting only for kindness to set it free. And the world, though harsh and vast like the desert, is made beautiful not by perfection, but by those who bloom despite their scars.